finally got an update on Caitlin Clark, man. We know she has been missing in action for the last couple games, and for her to speak to the media is big time. Now, news did break today that she will be a WNBA All-Star captain. She received 1.2 million votes, bruh, which is legendary in itself. Now, her and Stephanie White spoke to the media. I'm done talking. Let's check out what they had to say. Check out Caitlin Clark doing shoot-around. Roll the footage.
Caitlin Clark is back, and not just back, but back like your Wi-Fi after an outage during the NBA Finals. Full practice? Check. Breaking ankles? Double check. And oh yeah, All-Star news so big it made Indy do a double take. Did she just save the WNBA again before lunch? Probably. Grab your popcorn because Caitlin didn't just return, she pulled a full superhero landing and brought receipts. Let's dive into the madness before Twitter explodes again.
Caitlin Clark has gotten back on that floor, and they did a scrimmage in front of, I believe, the VIP members, if I'm not mistaken. So they gave us some footage. Boston was supposed to screen here or not, but I mean, the ball is in the corner. But the thing I like about this, you have some chaos going over here because it looked like Ari could have got by the defender, but she kind of just hesitated and stopped and turned around. And you got some commotion going on over here. That's the type of offense you need.
And just like that, the collective heartbeat of Indiana stabilized. Caitlin Clark is back on the court, stretching out those limbs like she never left, and everyone's pretending they weren't panicking just 48 hours ago. The trainers are sweating, the coaches are pacing, the fans already dusting off their Clark for MVP signs like they never stopped believing. But here's the twist. We hope she's not out there doing Olympic trials during practice. Take it easy, Caitlin.
Caitlin Clark's almost back. The return is imminent. It is loading, progressing. I've told you I believe Clark is playing on Wednesday against the Valkyries. I feel good about that, and I feel even better about it after the Fever practice today. They had an open practice for some season ticket holders and a scrimmage against some practice players. And the most notable thing from that was that Caitlin Clark was out on the floor and out on the floor with the starters.
This isn't a Marvel audition. You've got Valkyries to conquer, and they don't mess around. The Valkyries aren't your typical WNBA chaos merchants. They don't come flying at your ankles like they're late for a clearance sale. No, they actually play basketball. Like real basketball. With plays and defense and rhythm. Imagine that.
What have these last few days felt like for you leading into tomorrow's game?
Yeah, I think it's just nice to get back out there and get to the flow of, playing with my teammates again. And, it's gonna be fun to get back out there, hopefully, and just feel things again. I think, I don't know what type of minutes I'm going to get, will look like, but just when I'm out there, compete, play hard. This is going to be a team that's going to be moving constantly. So just being aware and active, bring energy. And yeah, I think that's obviously hard. Sitting out and watching for a few weeks, so I'm definitely excited to get back out there.
So while Caitlin's gearing up, hopefully she's not doing backflips in the layup lines. Wednesday is coming fast, and 10:30 is a weird time to be playing elite hoops. It's practically brunch with a scoreboard. Let's not burn all the gas before the show, unlike the usual suspects. Hello, Washington, Connecticut, and Atlanta, who have turned Scrappy into a full-blown WWE gimmick. One of them is always one shove away from a fine, and somehow it's never accidental. If elbows were currency, those three franchises would be billionaires.
One really, really interesting thing, and it is the Caitlin Clark situation. So, Caitlin Clark obviously is ruled out. She is ruled out for the game tomorrow, and I think it's only fair. I would assume, I was almost right in my prediction. I was one game off my prediction for Caitlin Clark's return the last time. But I would say if you're looking at the Indiana Fever, they're playing against obviously the Aces tomorrow, the Sparks on Saturday, and then they're playing against the they're playing 5 p.m. my time.
So yes, playing the Valkyries might actually be a relief. It's nice to face a team where the biggest threat is a well-executed pick and roll, not a flying hip check. But back to the real story, the return of Queen Caitlin. Because make no mistake, this isn't just about one player jogging back into action. This is seismic. The WNBA without Caitlin Clark is like Netflix without true crime documentaries. Technically functioning, but depressingly less interesting. Ratings dipped. Tickets slowed, memes dried up, and now, with one practice shoot-around and a couple no-look passes, the internet is already asking if she can run for mayor. If Indiana could bottle the vibe when she steps on that court, they'd solve their economy in a week. And the fans? Oh, they're losing their collective minds. There's borderline sobbing in the group chats. People are talking about her return like she just got back from the moon. The league didn't just miss her, it needed her like a rom-com needs a third-act breakup. She's the engine, the spark, the walking highlight reel who brings in everyone from diehard hoop heads to grandmas who haven't watched basketball since Magic Johnson wore short shorts. When she's not playing, the WNBA feels like it's waiting for something to happen. When she is playing, it feels like everything is happening.
Caitlin Clark did her thing. Coming off of the injury, she returned for the Fever, and I swear I am not being hyperbolic. We were immediately gifted one of the greatest halves we have ever seen in the WNBA, and I say that with all context involved. This series from Caitlin Clark, the pull-up three here, and you are about to see back-to-back-to-back triples for Caitlin Clark in this game. I am not trying.
And don't look now, but there might be a sneaky addition in the mix that could change the whole equation. McDonald. That's right, fast, focused, and finally getting a shot to shine where she can run free. This isn't the kind of player that just blends into the background and collects cardio. McDonald zips around the court like she's got turbo mode activated. She sees the angles, makes the reads, and suddenly you've got Caitlin setting up a transition and McDonald already halfway to the rim. That's a combo that makes sense, like peanut butter and revenge. Now sure, some fans were probably clutching their pearls when Duana Bonner wasn't the choice. Bonner's got the veteran cachet, the playoff experience, the resume that stretches longer than most Amazon receipts. But this team doesn't need another player to slow the pace and back someone down for 16 seconds. They need speed. They need vision. They need someone who's not afraid to run the floor like it's the Indy 500, and McDonald? She fits that blueprint with Wi-Fi speed and GPS-level court awareness. It's a stylistic shift, but it works. This isn't about pleasing the history books. It's about winning games now. While Bonner brings poise, McDonald brings pressure. She forces defenses to react. She opens up lanes for Clark to exploit.
It's official tissue. I told y'all yesterday. I told y'all last week. Caitlin Clark was gonna be back for Wednesday's game. And what do you know? It is official tissue.
And when those two start syncing up, it's going to be a problem, especially for the kind of team still operating like it's 2003. This isn't the walk it up and post era anymore. It's the run and gun, slash and snipe, Instagram, instant viral era. And McDonald plus Clark, that's algorithm gold. Meanwhile, back at the league office, someone is probably lighting a candle in gratitude. Caitlin isn't just part of the product, she is the product. And for all the talking heads who love to deny it, who love to pretend she's just another rookie, they've all quietly returned to the bandwagon. They're tweeting again, they're clipping her passes, they're acting like they weren't seconds away from blaming her for world hunger last week. That's how powerful her return is. It doesn't just revive a team, it revives everybody. Even the doubters start nodding along like they believed the whole time. But we remember. Oh, we remember.
For Indiana. And what does that mean also? It means that Clark will be playing with Aari McDonald for the first time. Not something that we have seen before, and certainly something to get excited about because it allows for different looks. You can see here this video from Scott Agnes. Caitlin Clark is playing off ball, and Aari McDonald is bringing the ball up.
So as she gears up for Wednesday, there's a strange tension in the air. Excitement, yes. Hype, absolutely. But also that nagging hope. Please don't go full throttle in warm-ups. We get it. She's got the fire of 1,000 suns. But maybe don't break the sound barrier before the tip-off. Save that lightning for the Valkyries, who at least won't try to body check you into next week. And assuming she keeps it tight, plays smart, and lets her talent speak without needing to set a court on fire mid-practice, we could be looking at the start of a serious second wind. Because this isn't just about coming back, it's about dominating the return. And with McDonald running shotgun, we might just see something special, something fast, electric, and untouchable. So yeah, let her ease into it. No full spend tackles on your own teammates, no dramatic cross-chore heaves in the first 90 seconds of practice, just Warm up, lace tight, and breathe easy because Wednesday's coming.
Y'all, it's official. I knew it. I knew she wouldn't let me down. Let's listen to what Caitlin Clark had to say about her return for the Valkyries tomorrow.
What have these last few days felt like for you leading into tomorrow's game?
Yeah, I think it's just nice to get back out there and get to the flow of, playing with my teammates again. And, it's gonna be fun to get back out there, hopefully, and just feel things again. I think, I don't know what the type of minutes I'm going to get will look like, but just when I'm out there, compete, play hard.
And the Valkyries are waiting. A clean team, a strong matchup, and a nationally televised opportunity for Clark to make everyone forget she ever missed a minute. The league's been holding its breath, and now it's finally starting to exhale. And while the headlines are popping and the fans are frothing like it's the Super Bowl of Tuesday night basketball, there's a slight hitch in the fairy tale return, because as much as everyone wants to scream she's back, the reality is she's backish. Not quite 100%, not quite spring-loaded, more like Caitlin at 85%, trying to give the people what they want without unraveling like a cheap shoelace. Watch the footage closely. Something's a little off. The bounce isn't bouncing. The hops look like they've been replaced with cautious optimism and a hint of grimace. She's still lacing up, still doing the work, still moving the ball like she invented geometry, but the explosion isn't there. It's like watching a Ferrari in eco mode. Still smooth, still impressive, but not fully unleashed.
Dynamic. You're going to see her playing off the ball more. You're going to see her with a backcourt pairing of McDonald, who was picked up and has not yet played on the court or in the same game as Caitlin Clark. So for those reasons, it'll be different as they're entering this very difficult portion of their schedule. 5 games over the next 7 days before All-Star break. 3 at home, then a back-to-back on the road at Boston against the Connecticut Sun, and then in Brooklyn against the New York Liberty. So we heard from Caitlin Clark for the first time in a week or so. She also has the All-Star draft that she recorded last night on Monday night and will air coming up Tuesday night on WNBA Countdown after practice.
And that's the concern. Not because she can't perform at 85%. Of course she can. Caitlin at 85% is still better than most at 110%. But this isn't about now. This is about later, when every bucket, every screen, every slide on defense becomes amplified under playoff pressure. So yes, the excitement is understandable. Fever fans are starved. What good is a triumphant return if it ends in another stint on the injury list? She doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. She's already a walking billboard, ratings magnet, and assist wizard. There's no medal for playing through sluggish movement. No MVP handed out for forcing a comeback before the body is ready. And while she could absolutely go off at 85%, drop 24-9, and still make SportsCenter twice, it's not worth the gamble if she limps through the second half of the season like she's carrying a piano.
Some footage of Caitlin Clark going through practice. Now, in case you do not realize, tomorrow night, huge game for the Indiana Fever against the hated Cheryl Reeve-led Minnesota Lynx. Now, Cheryl Reeve is the coach that, of course, was involved in leaving Caitlin Clark off the Team USA 5-on-5 team. I don't want to hear 3x3. I don't blame her for saying no. She shouldn't have been part of that. I mean, Diana Taurasi literally contributed nothing to Team USA, and Caitlin Clark should have had Taurasi's spot.
The adrenaline's real, though. That first game back glow can convince even the sanest athlete that they're indestructible. There's something about the roar of the crowd, the cameras, the weight of expectations that makes sitting out feel like a betrayal. But smart players know when to slow the roll, when to pull back before they unravel the entire sweater. It's all there, but it's cautious, which makes you wonder, why not wait a few more games? What's the rush? Why play at 85% when 95% Caitlin Clark could dismantle the postseason like a wrecking ball with court vision? It's not like the Fever can't hold it down without her for a bit longer. They've got a little momentum, a few bright spots. This isn't a desperate cry for help. It's a team that needs to think long-term. Letting her rest wouldn't be a weakness. It'd be a strategy.
News here today as Caitlin Clark continues to come through this groin injury well enough that she's planning to play in Wednesday's matinee against the Golden State Valkyries. Of course, it's also a special game for her because she goes against her best friend in Kate Martin, who is an expansion player for the Valkyries. But as she told us earlier today, this has been one of the most difficult periods of her playing career just because she's never missed time at all. Hasn't missed not nearly this much time as well. 10 games, including the last 5 with this groin injury. Obviously, it was a quad strain earlier in the season.
The kind of thinking that gets you through a grueling season intact. The kind of call that says, we're not here for regular season fireworks. We're here for postseason thunder. Because what happens if she tweaks it again? What if that sluggish bounce turns into a sideline vacation? What if the feel-good return ends in another MRI and a long stare into the void of what if? That's the risk. That's the gamble. But that's exactly why protecting her matters. If the entire league is breathing easier when she plays, then logic says they'll suffocate if she goes down again. This is chess, not checkers. The move here is patience, not performance. Nobody doubts her drive. Her competitiveness is practically a superpower. The girl would play through a thunderstorm if they let her. But sometimes, the toughest decision is not to play, to sit, to wait, to build strength, to let the body catch up to the mind. That's not cowardice, that's championship DNA.
What if? Because Caitlin Clark is the reason that people watch women's basketball. Just a couple games ago, Caitlin Clark was playing, the Connecticut Sun with the Indiana Fever. And she got poked in the eye by some female by the name of Sheldon. One of the other players on the Sun came up and shoved Caitlin over. I stand up for Caitlin since nobody else did. She tries and tries and tries and tries and tries with these ladies, and all they do is...
Because the playoffs are where legacies are built, not in random mid-season grudge matches, no matter how fun they are for social media. And don't mistake this for negativity. It's not about fear, it's about investment. Protecting the product, the player, the phenomenon. Because 100% Caitlin Clark in the playoffs is a nuke in a fireworks show. She'll torch defenses, she'll collapse double teams, she'll flip a postseason series like a pancake. About banners, not bonus checks. And while she might be able to give 85% right now and still drop jaws, it's the final 15% that separates icons from shooting stars. So here's the play. Let her breathe. Let the leg heal. Let the bounce return. Let the spring get reloaded. Because the best version of Caitlin Clark isn't the one gritting her teeth through stiffness. It's the one lighting up the fourth quarter when everything's on the line and everyone's watching. And for that moment to happen, someone's got to be brave enough to say, not yet. Sit now, dominate later.